Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video we're going to be comparing a 2022 Chevy Silverado Trail Boss Custom to a Trail Boss LT just to highlight the massive difference between both of these trucks. Before we get in the video though, if you want to save time and money the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get right into the comparison. So first off, popping under the hood of the Trail Boss Custom, we have a turbocharged 2.7 liter 4-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. It's good for 310 horsepower and then 430 pound-feet of torque. And believe it or not, fuel economy is pretty much identical to what you have under the hood of the other Trail Boss with the 5.3 liter V8 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. It's good for 355 horsepower and then 383 pound-feet of torque. So the turbo 4-cylinder has a little bit more torque, but this has a little bit more horsepower. And then, like I said, fuel economy is pretty similar between both of the powertrains, which again, like I said, is pretty interesting. Now popping back over to the Trail Boss Custom. So again, this is the lower down package. Notice that you've got that blacked out element there on the hood, just like the new Silverado ZR2. So they've put this on every single Trail Boss, whether it's a base model like this or, you know, a fully loaded Chevrolet Silverado ZR2. You can see here you've got halogen lights for the headlights, and then notice the grille is darker in coloration. You got your Z71 badge, red tow hooks there on the front end with all of the blacked out trim. And part of the Trail Boss package is you do get skid plates underneath, so obviously that protection is great for off-road use so that you don't damage important stuff. And, you know, overall, even though this is the quote-unquote base model, it's a good-looking truck. Popping over to the Trail Boss LT, you can see you have that same piece there in the center of the hood that, you know, when this truck's finished in black paint, it doesn't really pop out, but it still looks cool nonetheless. And then you can see here with the lights, you've got these LED headlights with the daytime running lights, and you can see the venting off to the side. And just notice everything looks a little bit more upscale here. There's a lot more body painted elements rather than just exposed plastic. Still have the Z71 badge, still have red tow hooks, skid plates underneath as well. And you know, you can see it just looks a little bit nicer, a little bit more aggressive from a front end perspective. Now popping over to the Custom, you can get different wheel options with the different Trail Boss packages, which I think is pretty cool that they give that option. You know, whether you want something that's a little bit more, you know, off-road ready, aka an 18-inch wheel, or you can do something that's a little bit more, you know, mall crawler ready, aka a 20-inch wheel. But they all come with aggressive all-terrain tires. You can see the Z71 badge. And another thing to mention, you can see the door handles. Also, 2-inch lift that goes across the line with Trail Bosses. Doesn't matter if you get a base model like this or a loaded up LT, you're going to get a 2-inch lift from the factory. Got your Trail Boss logo there on the back. And then you guys can see here with the rear tire setup, still have the leaf springs Rancho shocks. Also another thing here with the Trail Boss package. And then they have the G80 rear end. We'll talk about that in a second. But notice this one's got the 20-inch wheels. So like I said, this is, you know, more of like the looks setup because, you know, 20-inch wheels, you can off-road with them, but that's not as good as an 18-inch wheel. And then there's a quick look at that front suspension. Definitely a cool setup, and just love how aggressive the tires are on the Trail Boss. Chevy definitely did a good job with their tire pick. Now, here's your full side view. So you can see stance just as solid as the Custom from an aesthetic perspective, and you guys can see the body lines too. I think those look great. Still have that Trail Boss sticker there on the back end, and then you can see still have leaf springs, Rancho shocks, and then the G80 basically is just like an automated locking rear differential, so it just does it for you rather than you pressing a button to lock the system. Popping down the tailgate here, and notice it does have an automatic drop down for the tailgate here with the Custom. You can see protection from the factory, which is great. You got the LED bed lights, so you don't have to worry about scraping paint. That's definitely a big plus. Got a power outlet there, cargo light at the top. Got the Chevy bow tie there at the end. And, you know, it's a full-size truck, so you got a full-size truck bed, right? It's very practical. And then going over the rest of the rear, you've got the base lights that can come with the Silverado. And so they still have like the same shape as the more upgraded lights. They just aren't as pretty, especially when they're on. You've got the parking sensors there with the bumper steps, all that normal stuff. And then if you guys are wondering, actually, towing capacity and payload is pretty similar. The 5.3 has a slightly lower payload capacity, but towing capacity somehow is very close. It's very strange. Both around 9,000 pounds. Anyways, LED bed lights, NC power outlet, and then still have the protection here with the bed, and then also Chevy bow tie, cargo light there at the top. Notice there's a camera, though, in the center of this cargo light. And tailgate's just as easy to lift up, or you can press it and it'll do the automated function. So that's kind of one of the things you get when you get a more loaded up Trail Boss. Notice the difference here with the taillights. You can see here how they, again, shape is the same, but just notice the lighting elements inside, right? It's a little bit different. Squished exhaust tips that come with all of the Chevy models except for the ZR2. And there's a look at the Rancho shocks from the rear here with the Trail Boss LT. But yeah, good looking truck. Popping to the interior, you notice that it's very basic. So they basically took the interior from the Silverado WT work truck and they threw it into this Trail Boss Custom. So you've got the base seats, base door panel, but you know, it gets the job done, right? You can see rubber floor mats. And then space back there is great with the bigger cab that you can get with the Silverados. So just like other truck brands, tons of space, but there's not a lot happening back there. Now popping over to the LT, notice that this has the interior upgrades that come with the new Silverado. So you can see the double stack design there with the armrest and then the wood trim and then the speakers for the sound system. And then here's the seats. So these are vinyl seats. I really like them. First off, got the seat storage, another upgrade for the LT. But these are very easy to clean off because they don't have any perforations in them. And being black, right, easy to wipe down and it's not going to show stains terribly bad, right? Can't talk. You know what? We're just going to keep moving on. Anyways, cup holders and got the vents down below with the USBs. And then you can see there with the grab handle, same getting in and out with both of them. And then we have a cup holder armrest that the base model does not have. So that's another thing for the LT. Now popping to the front here with the base model, you can see pretty basic again from a door panel perspective. Got all of your window controls and then the mirror adjustments. And then there's a quick look at the mirrors themselves. And then cloth seats again with the front end. And you can see the bolstering there on the seats, power adjustments there on the side, pedal layout just down below. And then notice the parking brake there, light control. And then we've got our drive line select with the trailer tow mode. Notice it does have 4-wheel auto as well as 4-wheel high, which is very important. And then opening up the Trail Boss LT. You can see again, you've got the new body, refresh body style, right? Stuff with the door panel. Got your window controls there, and then again, same thing with the mirrors, you can adjust them. A little bit different look with the mirror though, because it's got blind spot monitoring. And then you can see the speaker for the Bose sound system. And then those vinyl seats there, carried over to the front end, and then notice the power adjustments there on the side of the seat. Pedal layout down below, pretty normal. And then notice with the light controls, you got the drive mode select, with the drive line select and then the tow haul mode. So there's a little bit more customization there with the Trail Boss LT, and then just look at that on the dash. Looks a little bit nicer as well from an aesthetic perspective. Popping back into the Trail Boss Custom. This is where you're going to see the biggest differences between the trucks. So first off with the steering wheel, you can see very base from a material standpoint, again built off of a work truck interior. Notice not a lot of controls in the steering wheel. You've got cruise control at least. And then you've got your turn signal windshield wiper stock. That's it. Column shifter with a manual shift function. But yeah, no radio controls. There's not a lot happening from a steering wheel perspective. And then gauge cluster, again, pretty basic. So you've got analog gauges all around. And notice you can pop into the trailer tow mode. And that's it. There's no other drive modes besides that. So they just, again, keep things simple with the Trail Boss Custom. And then here is the center infotainment system. So you can see there with the touchscreen. Notice response time is great. Camera resolution is also fantastic as well. And they've just done a really good job on the infotainment system in general, I would have to say. And the other thing I'd like to mention is there's analog buttons at the bottom, which definitely help out. And then single zone climate. And then notice there with the lane departure, auto stop start, tailgate drop down, hazard lights, stability control, and then hill descent control. And then notice all of the charging outlets as well. And then just blank switch. This one's got the bench seat. So you got storage on top of the seat. And then you have the bench seat. And then you have storage underneath the seat. So, you know, it's practical from a storage perspective. Dual glove box. in the old style, right? And then you can see again, pretty basic from a dash perspective, but it would be easy to clean off this interior because of the basic materials if you take it off-road. Notice no controls up there because it just has fixed rear glass, as you can see. And then you have a dimmer there on the mirror. Now here's the window sticker for this Trail Boss Custom. All you need to know is you get a credit for taking the 4-cylinder. They give you like a $1,500 discount or whatever, and it's just under $50,000 for the sticker price. For the total MSRP, again, that has a little discount included because of the turbo 4-cylinder. Chevy pays you to take that engine. Now here's the steering wheel with the Trail Boss LT. Notice a lot nicer from a material standpoint with the padding, got the stitching as well. Actual controls for the center stack, voice command controls, paddle shifters there for the 10-speed automatic, radio controls in the back, cruise control, heated steering wheel. So, you know, quite a few luxury features. Turn signal, windshield wiper stock, and yeah, it's a steering wheel. And then we've got the full digital gauge cluster here, which is a huge upgrade over that, you know, half analog. Well, it's more like 90% analog and then partial screen. Notice drive modes. We have a normal and an off-road mode. It's got a cool animation for both of them. And then also what you can see is multiple screens you can scroll through that you can see different bits of info on the truck, music, navigation, you know, all that normal stuff that you're typically used to seeing. And moving from that to the infotainment system. First off, camera is way better. So resolution's the same, but we have a 360 camera system here on the LT. And so what that allows you to do is see out of every single angle with the truck, which helps out from a parking perspective and also helps out from an off-road perspective. You can basically spot yourself there. You can see with the wheels. That's great. And so that's another big upgrade with the LT over the Custom is you have a much better camera system. Even though the resolution is the same, you have way more camera views. And then infotainment system, response time's just as good. I don't really think that this infotainment system is necessarily an upgrade. Chevy fans might not like that. It's bigger, it looks better, but functionality on it's relatively the same, even though you have that side screen, right? So I'm okay with either infotainment system. Honestly, it's just the camera system that has me most impressed. Double down, of course, on the home screen button. Notice lane departure, parking sensors, auto stop, start, tailgate drop down, or raise up. That's why it has the arrows pointing both ways. You've got your hazard light, stability control, hill descent control, and then you've got a button to roll down all the windows at once. And then notice the wood trim right there, and then you see the trailer brake controls, heated seats as well, dual zone climate. So again, more luxury features, some extra storage space right there. And then notice with the trim and then a little bit of extra storage space there off to the side, we have our console shifter. That's another big thing, right? Instead of the column shifter, like in the Custom. And responsive with the shifter is great too. So that's another big plus. And then it pops right in the park. Couple cup holders. And then you can see here with the center console setup, notice we've got the wireless phone charger. And then, you know, decent amount of storage space here at the center console, but not as practical as the bench seat, right? Because you can't sit someone there. And then you've got the dual glove box. And I'm waiting for the comments that are going to be like, who needs a bench seat if you have no friends? That's funny. Anyways, you've got the padding there on the dash. And then power setting window. That's another big benefit. And then notice with the manual mirror dimmer, doesn't have Chevy's cool camera mirror system. No sunroof or anything like that. But here's a window sticker for this Trail Boss. And notice with the base price, it is more expensive than the Custom is with all of its options. So yeah, a base LT is still more money than a, you know, well optioned out Custom is what that package really was that we saw. And you notice with the standard equipment on this particular one, and you can see the total MSRP there a little bit off to the side, right? $63,000. So, you know, like $13,000, $14,000 price difference between both the trucks. Here's the deal. If you're looking for purely an off-road truck, right, the Custom is going to have the same off-road capability as the LT Trail Boss. But if you're looking for a daily driver / off-road truck, the LT, right, has all those extra luxury features. So you have to decide, are those luxury features worth the 13 to 14 grand that you're going to be paying? And, you know, also, okay, I can't speak for Chevy, but this is just my personal guess. So this is just a Ben Hardy guess. Take that for what it is. I don't think that they're going to be putting the V8 in the Custom for the initial run because of supply issues and everything, right? It's harder to build different components on cars. And so I'm from what I've seen so far, it looks like they're reserving 4-cylinder engines for the base model Silverados, like the custom Trail Boss, and then they're reserving the middle-of-the-line engine, aka the 5.3 V8, for middle-of-the-line trucks like the LT Trail Boss, and then they're reserving the 6.2 V8 for high-end product like the High Country and the Silverado ZR2. And so I think right now, from what I've seen so far with inventory, if you want the 4-cylinder, you're going to probably get a base model truck. If you want the V8, you're probably going to get a middle-of-the-line truck. And then if you want the bigger V8, you're going to have to get a top-of-the-line truck. So let me know which one you guys would pick, and that's all.